Hello, everyone. I'm excited that everyone's here tonight. I would like to open our Board of Commissioner regular meeting, April 2nd, 2026, at 7:23 p.m. Ms. Jones, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Roberts.
Present.
Commissioner Hall.
Present.
Commissioner Buffalini.
Present.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Present. Item number 3 is prayer and pledge. Lord, I would just like to thank you for this community and all the citizens in it. Be with those who are traveling on this week of Easter, and be with those who are sick. Help us to remember what this week is about and the sacrifice that your Son gave for all of us. I pray that we make good decisions for this city in everything that we hear and we listen to the community. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is mayor's comments. Like I said, thank you for everyone here. We have a full house tonight. Thank you for those at home who are watching. Always remember that you can catch a meeting of Fairview Facebook Live, City of Fairview, or YouTube after the meeting is over. I would like for just to mention that we need to be polite and courteous when we speak. Officer Ray Martin is here to make sure that happens. We appreciate him. And just when you're speaking to our citizens' comments, it's a limit of 5 people and a limit of 3 minutes. Our city recorder, Ms. Jones, will be giving me a signal when the time is up, and I will let you know. Thank you so much. Item number 5 is citizens' comments.
The first tonight mayor is Miss Janet Gatewood.
Janet Gatewood, 7150 Triple Crown Lane. Mayor Anderson and citizens of Fairview, if you want to know what a coup looks like, take a look at a few of our commissioners sitting on the board tonight. The following potential ethics and sunshine law violations have been submitted to the Williamson County DA and the Tennessee Ethics Commission. There are multiple issues. We have potential sunshine law violation and charter violations between the city attorney, the commissioners McDonald, Roberts, and Buffalini. Commissioner Buffalini lied in his statement of disclosure for the Board of Commissioners over 2 years. This is a sworn document intended to ensure transparency. He stated on that and signed it that he did not have a bankruptcy on both the 24 and 25 forms. This is a lie, as one of the discharged bankruptcies was within the 5-year reporting window. He also listed no sources of income. I don't have proof that you weren't paid, but you work for a painting company, so I can't imagine that you weren't. He then amended his form this week when the board was notified of his falsification of documents and added his painting income. The city attorney told him to amend the form. Now, wait a second. So Tom Dougherty was forced to resign for a misunderstanding of the city policy, yet Commissioner Buffalini has this ethics violation and is told just to amend it. Interesting that you can all have grace for one, but not for both. Where is the justice? When you submit a false and incomplete form, it states that you have committed perjury. Perjury. If this board is so swift to demand a resignation with a policy infraction, what about a violation of state law by one of the commissioners? I demand the immediate resignation of Commissioner Dawn Buffalini. Applicant for court clerk Deborah Buffalini falsified her husband's application by signing as his witness on a form that he lied on, which excluded the bankruptcy, discharge, and sources of income. Commissioner Chris McDonald violated city charter by ordering a city employee to come into the office while she was on paid time off for a vacation to have her plan a luncheon to meet the potential interim city manager. In addition to this, City Attorney Patrick Carter has facilitated all of this with all of the commissioners behind the scenes without including our Mayor Anderson, as he did other 4 board members, and he repeatedly leaves her out of scheduling meetings. She is the mayor who does that. Those are not Fairview values. Why do you think she wasn't here tonight? Y'all planned this when she had a speech and you knew she had a speech. It appears that there have been a few commissioners that have chosen to usurp statutory authority and manage city employees directly, all of which appear to have been supported and endorsed by the city attorney. Fairview, if you want to know what it looks like for your hometown to be taken over, look no further than this room. You can vote them all out when the time comes if they aren't forced to resign, as Tom Doherty was. Commissioner Buffalini, I voted for you. This is not what I voted for.
Next, we have Karen Cobb.
Address 7802 Willow Crest. Let's see, when I was here about a week and a half ago on Friday, as a result, you guys had prior knowledge of the city mayor and the resignation was asked for. Reasons for the resignation are he did misconduct, it's my understanding. So being guilty of misconduct and an accessory after the fact, you guys were all asked for your resignation if you voted for him to leave as a result of that, because that was a conflict. So I do believe McDonald, Roberts, and Buffalini would like to know if you have your resignation letter for us tonight. As a result, we have, governed by Tennessee Code 39-16-402, misconduct. This involves a public servant knowingly acting intent with harm, unauthorized actions, neglecting duties. You guys have bylaws which are to say that this is an ethics and transparency which was not conveyed. You admitted it, McDonald, and everybody else did, with knowing for 2 years. And you had many other alternatives that you could have taken during this time, and you could refused. At this time, you took 2 years and you did not at all ever tell anybody. And then you stood up here and you said that there were other reasons which you didn't want to say, which means that you knew other things and their transparency was still not coming through. So, admitted by your own selves. I do not believe that Mr. Hall or Ms. Anderson violated a lot of these things because they were not willing to terminate somebody for something that you guys knew about. So they did not see that, but you did. And so I would like to know if your resignation letters are here tonight. We just heard from somebody else for Buffalini, who had conflict of interest with that as well. So it's a Class E felony for public servant with intent and benefit or harm who refused to perform duties. You guys knew for 2 years and you refused to perform those duties. You hid them. Public service misconduct under 18 U.S.C. 1519 and 2017 is a crime for a public servant to willfully conceal records which can lead to termination. Definition, failing to disclose information, documents, or objects. Whoever knowingly conceals, covers up, makes a false entry in any record with the intent to influence, which a lot of people do feel that there was an intent to influence by some of you, certain things that are going on right at this point in time. Those are
Ms.
all-
Cobb, I'm sorry, the 3 minutes is up.
3 minutes is up.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kristen Zavala.
Krista Zavala, 7110 White Oak Drive. Switching the topic up for a moment to something that's a hot topic on Facebook and all of our local groups. Good evening, Mayor and board members. I stand before you tonight seeking clarity and understanding. As a new board and mayor since the previous Bowie-related debacle, I hope you will help me understand why Bowie does not appear to be a higher priority for our town. I am of this opinion because of the previous and now current predicament we are in. When I previously spoke at this very podium, my children and I did not have a backyard, but today we do. Yet, even with our own space, we still visit Bowie multiple times each week. We come not only for the playground, but to hike the trails, visit the nature center, enjoy nature, away from traffic and noise. This park is a true community treasure, a treasure that my children are now unable to enjoy, and the thousands of others in our town and surrounding communities. I say this with full awareness of the serious safety concerns currently present in the hiking trails. However, it is unacceptable that there isn't a dedicated rainy day fund for emergencies such as these. I don't know if that's something this town is responsible for, or if some other council is responsible for. The fact that this doesn't exist is why I'm standing here. I was hoping this lesson would be a thing of the past when the playground demolition happened and there were no funds or even a clear plan for what the next course of action would be. It left our community waiting for almost 2 years and a financial responsibility that most of us were shocked we had to take on. The citizens of Fairview are asking you to do better and to be better. We elect you with that hope. When residents take the time to come to this podium, we deserve explanations about how we got here, to hear concrete plans of action, both to resolve the current situation and prepared for when something similar happens again. Communication cannot be limited to board meetings on voting nights. Are there official channels for citizens to give input and educate ourselves on these issues? If such channels do not exist, you need to create them. Please help us to understand the plan and the priorities. We want to support you, but we need transparency and proactive leadership. Thank you.
Next, we have Joe Elowinski.
Joe Elenewski. I live at 7427 Swindon Boulevard here in Fairview. I've been disappointed with some of the things that we've seen on social media. Social media can be the greatest tool, the greatest communication tool to reach more people, to communicate. It can also be the greatest weapon. And right now, and with the former city manager situation, like that's a little fire right now, and it feels like those flames just keep getting fanned, and it's growing, right? And you can be part of the solution and be the adults in the room and help solve the problems that we have in the city, or we can keep fighting with each other and looking to be petty and all that kind of stuff. And so, one thing that Commissioner Roberts mentioned in the last meeting is that there are people that are afraid to come out and speak, and I can vouch for that. I'm afraid to come out and speak at times because I don't know that there's not going to be any retaliation, and I don't have any business before the city right now, but I love the community and I want to be here for the rest of my life, and I don't know if I will one day. And I mean, and there's a lot of people that share that sentiment, and I love the questions that are asked, and it seems like over the last few months that there's more and more issues around our budget and the money that we have available for the city to address our problems that are coming to the surface that it just feels like we probably should have known about sooner. And so I just ask all of you to really focus on the problems. We have some major problems that we've got to address, and it's not going to you five working together are going to solve them versus working against each other and working on our own agendas. It's just not going to happen. And I just wanted to mention that I don't know anybody personally very well, but Commissioner Buffalini I see at this high school all the time, and I know he's put his money where his mouth is with making improvements, and more importantly with his time. Our time is our most valuable asset, and he spends so much time announcing games and working football games and announcing the youth games, and I can't think of anybody else I would rather representing the community because they spend so much time and invest so much in the community. And I very much feel like with Commissioner Roberts and Commissioner Buffalini that if I reach out to them, they respond, they answer, and they listen. And I don't know if they're going to solve my problems, but I know they'll at least listen. and I'm extremely appreciative of that. And then finally, with the interim city manager, or candidate here, Mr. Girth, I'm from Kenosha, Wisconsin as well. I grew up there, and I can say that that community has been defined by when the Chrysler plants went away, which is about the time I was born. And the recovery from that and the amount that has done along the development, like I can just vouch for that, is extremely impressive. And I think you would be great to help Fairview grow through these problems.
Thank you so much.
Number 5 tonight is Sheila Cook.
Sheila Cook, 7422 Swindon Boulevard. I'm going to do a little bit different here since some things have been said. So I'll start with this. Seen a lot on Facebook about Tom resigning and it being forced. He resigned. I watched this. Respect his decision. I mean, don't keep dragging him through the mud. Respect his decision. He might have had reasons. There's a call for people that knew about his son-in-law being hired. Just was said today, 2 years ago, nothing's been done. Asking for resignations. Well, sorry, Roberts and Buffalini weren't on the board then. So if you're asking for resignations, you have to do these 3 over here. They were the only ones on the board 2 years ago when that person was hired. So let's get facts straight. I'm a very factual person. So we're going to get to money. Fire truck. At this point, I just want a timestamp that before a new interim or a permanent city manager starts, let's take inventory where we are and what we know. Fire truck, 3 years ago, it was ordered, $1 million. Nothing was saved. Being delivered in May. Now we got to borrow money and pay interest. That's not good. Bonds, there's 2 that I found. 2021A, we're paying $240,000 a year on that one. The new one that we've been spending money like crazy, $9.7 million. We got to spend all of it by December 15th or give it back and have a black eye. Well, on that one, it looks like it's going to cost us $450,000 a year, and that's through fiscal year 2051. The other one was through fiscal year 2030. So that's not good either. And there's not all of that I found on here. City of Fairview, we spent $1.2 million cleaning up. We're halfway through, need $1.26 million more. That's like $3.3 million. That's a lot of money to pick up sticks. So I know we had a problem here, but also homeowners, remove your own sticks. It's your responsibility. You're a homeowner. That's just what it is. Bowie Park. I like to see Bowie Park. They were throwing around $1.2 million. They said $500,000 for Widowmakers. Now we see it's $337,500. You know, fine. Spend that. We don't have it, but spend that part. And then everybody will have to come in and volunteer and get the rest of it out. But we will be having to pay for the whole amount, and it's going to take a while to get the 75% back from FEMA on all of these and everything else that we'll have to pay for in interest. So that's a few expenditures, and I'm sure the city manager, whoever comes in, knows that you got city expenses, you may have to cut heads, you may have to cut salaries, I don't know. We got to do something with the budget. And it also was said that, Tom said before he left, go ahead to raise property taxes. That's not great. We got a lot of people on fixed incomes. But here's my statement here. The whole board needs to start working together. Quit fighting. Quit getting your local friends and to harass people on Facebook, spread lies, slander, unprofessional, just somebody doesn't agree with your idea. We have 5 people with different ideas and views for a reason. That's a good thing if we work together. Don't come here and speak like, yes, people.
Thank
two
you,
more
Ms.
things.
Cook.
People
Time-
don't come here and speak
Ms.
for
Cook.
unpopular.
Ms. Cook, your time
because-
is up.
I know. Okay,
No,
I'll tell you what.
your time is up.
For the
Thank you.
record, I'm not
Ms.
suicidal.
Cook.
I'm not
Ms.
suicidal,
Cook.
for the record. So if
Ms.
something
Cook,
happens.
your time is up. Okay. Okay, before item number 6, approval of the agenda, I would like to ask the board if we can add, under public announcements, we have heard from other candidates, and we have Mary Smith tonight here running for county mayor and Lisa Hayes running for county commissioner. I would like to ask the board if we can hear them and give them a few minutes to speak.
Can we do a motion? Because I have a question about the agenda also, please.
Second.
Okay. do we want to do a motion on it
Well,
amending?
Don't we need to do a motion with the amendment?
Yeah. Yes, if you're going to amend the agenda.
Okay, so if you'd like to add something, we can do a motion for the whole thing.
Sure. I'm not adding, I've got a question about something on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Should I do that before we do the
I
motion?
think what,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I just wanted
Okay,
to do a
let's,
motion amendment so we
so
can
there's
discuss.
discussion. So
I'm
we have a
asking to
motion.
amend the agenda to add the two candidates to be able to speak.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Well, this is the discussion. I think she wants to have discussion or has questions about it.
Oh,
So
okay,
this would
go
be the
ahead.
appropriate time for
Okay,
her
go
question or
ahead.
discussion.
Go ahead with your questions.
Thank you. So I've just noticed under staff comments and monthly reports, there's a new parenthetical. It says limited to 5 minutes each with an additional 5 minutes allocated for questions and answers. I'm not contesting it. I just noticed that it's a change to the agenda that was on our last agenda, and I'm wondering where it comes from.
I can answer that. I had spoken to Mayor Anderson. There's been a concern in recent meetings, and I'd say the last 6 months, that the staff reports are getting longer and longer, and as a consequence, less cogent and clear. And so I suggested to the chair that we should limit or propose limiting staff reports to something. More time wasn't leading to better staff reports. It was leading to disjointed staff reports. And so that's the effort there. That was actually on the agenda when Mr. Doherty made his announcement. And obviously, that was a special circumstance, and he was allowed to speak much more than 5 minutes, and no one had any issue with that. So I think if there's a reason for it to be longer than 5 minutes, I would expect none of you would have an issue with that. But it's an effort to get our meetings under control.
Thank you.
Because they're getting far too long.
Yeah, I just noticed it after we approved the last agenda, and I was just wondering where it came from because we hadn't had a discussion, so I just thought I would ask. Okay, thank you so much.
Ms. Jones?
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Approval of the agenda as amended passes 5-0. Item number 7, public announcements, awards, and recognition. A is city events. Mr. Greer?
Our next city event that we have coming up is the Arts and Crafts Festival, May 2nd. It is currently scheduled for Bowie Nature Park. That may change depending on how the rest of tonight goes. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Richard Ross, who is out this week. He sent in a message that the Easter egg hunt was a great event. Thank you for everyone who attended. They are still accepting sponsorships for the July 3rd Independence Day celebration. If anyone is interested in being a sponsor for any event or the July 3rd event especially, they can contact City Hall at 615-799-2484 and ask to speak with Mr. Richard Ross. We are still looking for a few additional sponsors for that event, along with vendors for the Arts and Crafts Festival and Nature Fest coming up in the fall. That is all I have tonight. I know a few of y'all participated in the events if you want to share anything about this past weekend.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just
Commissioner Roberts?
want to thank Richard for the work that he did on the Easter egg hunt, but also just to say that it was really fun to get there and see all the kids go. It was a really great opportunity for them, and it was sponsored by one of the companies that's hoping to bring an emergency room to the city, and I just thought that it was a great opportunity to see more involvement, and I just wanted to say it was a really fun time.
Mayor,
Commissioner Hall?
thank you. Want to correct something that was, one of the things that I read on Facebook this week. I did come by to help out at the Easter egg hunt, but fortunately, they hadn't shown up yet for me to help hide the Easter eggs, so I left and went on over to the ballpark because they're both scheduled at the 10 o'clock. So I got over there and basically got a little bit hemmed in, and so basically I didn't help hide the Easter eggs. So I'm very sorry about the post on Facebook, but that was the correct way that I ended up spending the time at the softball jamboree. Thank you.
Okay, item 7B, our first candidate for county mayor, Miss Mary Smith. If you'd like to come and say a few words to us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. So yes, my name is Mary Smith. I am running for county mayor. And as residents of Williamson County, even city of Fairview, you do have the opportunity to vote for county mayor. The election is coming up April 15th through the 30th. Fairview has a very special place to me. This is where my husband and I moved in 2000. So I was 28, he was 31 years old. And so I have a lot of Fairview first. We bought our first home here. We started our first business here. Y'all been to Dunkin' Donuts? Dunkin' Donuts is the building on Highway 100. Actually built that. If you've been here for more than 24 years, you might remember Mojo's Coffee House. So Mojo's Coffee House was our business. We loved being part of this community. We also became parents for the first time living in Fairview. So Fairview has a very special place for me. This community's obviously changed a lot. It's grown a lot. And I think a lot of it's been really good. Mr. Hall, he's been here for a long time. So he was actually on the Planning Commission, I believe, when we actually built our coffee house back in 2002. So I have a lot of connections here, and I am really looking forward to this opportunity to serve as county mayor. The election is on May 5th. I'm telling everyone Smith on the 5th. But I would love the opportunity to partner with the city of Fairview and help in any way we can with the challenges that you are facing. I think a lot of us are facing challenges across the county with regards to affordability, traffic, roads, and then also just making sure that counties serve their communities in the best way they possibly can. So I'm looking forward to this opportunity. I do appreciate your service to your community. And if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me at votemarysmith.com. And again, it's Smith on the 5th. Thank y'all.
Thank you. And next will be candidate for county commissioner and current county commissioner, Lisa Hayes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I am your current county commissioner and have worked really hard. I probably have the most diverse district of any in the county because I have everything. I have 3 cities and lots of unincorporated rural areas in between. I love it. I actually live not far from the Pinewood 840 exit. I owned a small business south of Leapers Fork called the Davis General, and really enjoyed moving in and building that business. Unfortunately, sold it, and I miss it dearly because great people in the Boston community. And love Fairview. I spent a lot of time here shopping and eating. I spent quite a bit of time helping my Fernvale residents when there was the wonderful, not so wonderful, racetrack project that I'm glad was defeated. But I do work hard. I love the Fairview area, and like I said, spent a lot of time here, so would love to be reelected to continue to work hard for the citizens of District 1, Fairview, Spring Hill, Thompson Station, and everything in between. So thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Item number 8 is staff comments and monthly reports. Item 8A is planning department report. Mr. Greer.
Our quarterly report is for January of 2026 through March of 2026. We issued 27 single-family home permits, 6 townhome units were permitted. Our planning staff reviewed, completed 118 project reviews by our staff. A few department updates. The Planning and Codes Department, along with the Parks Department and our city administration, is still working with GovWill to implement our final module for events and facility management. This module will allow for vendors to register for city events and citizens to register for city programming that takes place within the park department. This improvement will allow citizens and vendors to submit documentation and payment via the GovWell portal. The development code has passed the first reading with the Board of Commissioners. We get to take on the second reading tonight. The City of Fairview was not selected for the TDOT Transportation Planning Grant that we had intended to utilize for a major thoroughfare plan. As we work through our next budget, we will continue to look for opportunities to complete an update to our major thoroughfare plan that hasn't been updated in about 40 years. And the fun, exciting news is our department is adding a new member, Mr. Nick Meeks. He will begin with our department on Monday morning. Mayor, if you don't mind, I also have Todd's report for the Public Works Department. During the months of January, February, and March, the Public Works Department has been extremely busy throughout the city since the ice storm Fern. They took down all the Christmas decorations. They plowed and salted all the city streets. I would thank them very much. They worked very hard during that time of the week of that event. They cleared hundreds of trees from roadways. They assisted the park department with storm cleanup. They've assisted in cleanup and removal of storm debris from city properties, demolished and removed all 3 Welcome to Fairview signs in preparation for the new signs coming into place. They repaired or replaced 23 city street signs. They completed the leaf pickup service. And they completed an additional 43 work orders that pertain to the city's right-of-way and properties. And then the last thing that I have is on April 8th, which is next Wednesday, for upcoming items, we have an Around Town Coffee that will be held on April 8th at 8:30 a.m. And this event is hosted by our Economic Development Officer, Miss Patty Carroll. It's a great opportunity for businesses to get recognition and to come out and network with each other. This event is going to be held at Carr Orthodontics, which is right next door here to City Hall. And then upcoming for our planning department, we have our regular planning commission meeting on April 14th, our May planning commission meeting on May 12th, and our June meeting on June 9th. That is all I have tonight. If y'all have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Does the board have any questions about Planning Department or Public Works? Thank you. Item 8C is our Parks Department report. I assume, Bree, are you okay? Thank you.
Good evening, board. This is a photo from Winter Storm Fern when I went to go feed the animals. She was beautiful, but she was destructive. All right, we do plan to host park volunteer cleanup days once we get some of the Widowmakers down. We miss everybody out at the park. But in the meantime, we've revamped a few amenities within the park, such as installing 3 new nest boxes for Project Nest Watch. We re-landscaped our Kindness Rock Garden by the playground, so we just replaced the bricks. We did have a job posting for a maintenance crew member. Unfortunately, that has been temporarily suspended since, from what I understand, interim city manager doesn't have the ability to hire. But we do have a few candidates lined up. We're just waiting for that process to move forward. And then Run Wild by David Cavell is estimated to be installed on the Bowie Storybook Trail in late April. Here we go. We have had a Parks Master Plan accomplishment. We have pivoted from hosting programs at Bowie Nature Park to our other city parks at Veterans Memorial Park as well as Historical Village. During the time the park has been closed, we've had 114 total attendees for our various programs throughout February and March. So that's great. We want to thank you all for your support during that transition. And we hope to host programs at these other parks at least once a month moving forward, once Bowie is reopened. At the top there, that's pictures from our homeschool out at Montgomery Bell State Park, and then a couple of our homeschool groups at the bottom. Okay, so it took 7 hours to clear out the paved section at the front of the park. We would like to thank Public Works crew for coming out and assisting with that. We don't have a total tree count available to estimate, but to compare historically, we've cleared 180 trees off the trail system in 1 week, but it took over 2 weeks to clear the entire trail system in February. So a lot of those trees up there on the top left are cut. They're stashed in piles, which we'll see here shortly. We have had hundreds of treetops, small branches, and widowmakers on the trail. Matter of fact, I just saw a widowmaker fall on Tuesday right behind the playground. So it is still dangerous out there, and we do ask the public refrain from venturing into the park for their safety. And as far as structural damage, the Bowie Nature Park sign near the loop entrance to Shelter 2 has been damaged. We'll see that here in a moment. We do have a slightly bent picnic table near Shelter 1, and then a large branch fell through the roof at Shelter 1 as well. So we'll get that fixed here shortly. All right, these are some photos of park staff cleaning the park shortly after the storm. Large trees. Most of our trees are loblolly pines, but we have had a few oaks and poplars fall as well. Yeah, this is just a couple photos of our trail system with trees falling over. It was pretty bad. And moving forward, we do plan on hiring a contractor at some point. They will not be doing like a cut and remove. Instead, they'll be doing a cut and toss because it's a little bit more cost efficient. The park will be able to open as we get the rest of those limbs out of the park as well. And when that happens, we'll have volunteers able to come into the park as well. Concurrent to that, or shortly after, we're going to have a chipper service. Remove branch piles, and we'll use that mulch to fill lowlands within the park to prevent erosion. And during this, we'll close specific trails while that equipment is being used. Again, we will have volunteer opportunities when the time comes. So they'll be raking small debris into piles for disposal, clearing trails, planting new trees, etc. All of our volunteers must sign a volunteer waiver and a hold harmless agreement for the city. And then lastly, we will have a forestry management plan, which is a plan for forest care, controlled burns, and removal of large debris, not only from this storm, but from previous storms as well. And then down on the bottom right, that is the broken sign. The wooden portion is okay. It has a small crack, but that's being fixed, and then we hope to rebuild that little rock piece. All right. So in 2023, a few members of this board, as well as former members, voted to reestablish park staff so that we can provide programs for our community and have more people visit Bowie Nature Park. Within 2 years, from January 2024 to April 2026, we've held 132 interpretive programs, 18 Bowie homeschool sessions, 17 field trips, 13 outreach opportunities, 8 summer camps, the installation of the Bowie Storybook Trail, and the creation of our Fall Fun Day event. We are so thankful for the opportunity to serve the community. We seek excellence in every program we provide, and we continue to grow moving forward. And for that reason, I'd just like to take a quick moment to extend our gratitude to former City Manager Tom Daugherty for his support for the park over the past few years, as well as rebuilding our staff. It's been a pleasure to serve alongside him, and we wish him luck moving forward. And then, of course, moving forward, with support from our board and from our new city manager, we hope to continue down the path of success and program development, output, and responsible growth within our park system. All right, and then if you'd like to sponsor the park in any way, shape, or form, we have opportunities for the Bowie Storybook Trail. You can sponsor a book and get your logo printed on our very first panel, the welcome panel. You can sponsor our Camp Bowie shirts so kids can wear them around and show everybody and that they were a part of our community during the summer. We're upgrading our GPS geocaching units for summer camps. A couple of ours don't seem to work anymore, especially when we're deep in the forest, so we hope to upgrade those. Any general donations or event sponsors are always welcome. And then if you would like to leave a legacy just as Evangeline Bowie did, you are always welcome to consider legacy land donation. I believe in the 2040 plan, it calls for another 250 acres of parkland, and any help with that is greatly appreciated. All right, and then here are, you've all seen this slide before. Here's 30 reasons why the investment to open the park is worthwhile. A few of these things include affordable recreation, improvements to health and wellness, as well as community unity. I know a lot of people miss being a part of our park, and we miss them as well. We, as you've all heard before, we've hosted various types of programs, summer camps, Bowie homeschool, field trips, outreach, and we love what we do. If you have any questions about some of the programs we provide, please see our Bowie homeschool guide, volunteer guide, and field trip and outreach guides as well, if you might be a teacher or a part of a homeschool group that would like to come visit us in the future. And as always, we invite you all to connect with us. We have our Fairview Park System newsletter, as well as the Friends of Bowie Nature Park, Loblolly Times newsletter, our Bowie Nature Park website, and then both the Friends of Bowie Nature Park Facebook page and the Bowie Nature Park Facebook page. That gives a little more regular updates as far as any changes to upcoming programs, so that's always a reliable source of information. And that Facebook page is also it has a widget on the park website, bowiepark.org. So if you don't have Facebook, you might be able to see regular updates on the website as well. And like I said, we all miss you all at Bowie Nature Park. We hope you come to visit us at Veterans Memorial Park and Historical Village, and we hope to see you soon. Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you. Item number 9, consent agenda.
Mayor, if I may, I know that we don't have a city manager report, but this might be a good time. Mr. Girth asked me how what the process would be to proceed, and so I just want to get on the same page with the BOC on that process. So I asked him, I imagine that you're interested in Mr. Girth based on all of your comments, including the mayor's and the conversation the mayor had with him today, and all the rest of you seemed engaged and pleased with the dialogue back and forth. So I asked him to prepare a contract or a term sheet and get that to me, and I will get it in the proper form. If it's not in the proper form, although I suspect it will be, Rachel and I will work together for a resolution, and I'll make sure that's on the agenda for the next BOC meeting. Is that satisfactory, or do you have any input about how I go about doing that? But that's what I would recommend. The mayor's nodding her head.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, we have something on the agenda tonight. 10C is,
Which item is it? I'm sorry.
10C is Resolution 1826, so this is on the agenda for tonight. But we don't have the contract drawn up. I don't know if that's.
Well, so that's the resolution designating him. When we get to the item, we might make that conditional on reaching financial terms with him. But with that condition or making that contingency, I think we can approve that tonight, and then and then when we get the contract, that will fall into place. I think that's the best way to proceed. because I think we all benefit. The sooner we can get him involved, the better the city's going to be, I think. Does everyone agree?
Sounds reasonable to me, yes.
Does anyone disagree?
I have a question as soon as the mayor
Well,
recognizes me.
can we just discuss this during 10C, during that item?
We can. I just wanted to, it was the city manager part, so I just thought it
and
was correct to insert it.
I appreciate what you have to say. If anybody has any questions, I think we should wait for the item on the agenda. Would that be okay?
I'm
Okay.
satisfied if you're satisfied. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Item 9, consent agenda. A, minutes from March 19th, 2026 BOC regular meeting. And B, minutes from March 27th, 2026 BOC special meeting.
Move to approve.
Second?
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. 9A and B passed 5-0. Item 10, old business. 10A, Resolution 15-26, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute task orders for emergency debris removal and emergency debris monitoring services for the city of Fairview, Tennessee. I have asked Mr. Kevin Parker and Miss Misty Johnston from Thompson Consulting Services to explain and answer questions of the board. If y'all would please come forward.
Mayor Anderson, board members, my name is Kevin Parker. I am the Senior Project Manager for Thompson Consulting Services. We are the contractor that you guys have hired to monitor, oversee, document, verify the debris for the contractor Phillips.
Mr. Parker,
yes.
if you could just bring the mic up closer to you and then just state where y'all are from, or where
Okay.
you're from.
Okay. I'm from
Thank
Fort
you.
Walton Beach, Florida. I'm actually living at the Hilton West End right now, and I've been a part of this area since the ice storm.
Thank you.
And Misty is from Pensacola, Florida. We like doing a lot of hurricane work, but this ice storm, this historic ice storm has brought us up here, and we're glad to be here to help you guys. Just kind of want to give you guys a brief synopsis of where we are with the debris removal. I'd just like to give you some facts on maybe some other communities. I know you guys are dealing with this, but so is a lot of other people. So far, NDOT has collected 1.6 million cubic yards of debris. TDOT on the state roads has collected 346,000 cubic yards. Williamson County, which we're also a part of in monitoring that for the county roads, and not in the municipalities, but for the county roads, is 72,000 cubic yards of debris. The city of Brentwood, their estimate at the beginning of this process after the storm hit was 150,000 cubic yards. They're currently at 323,000 cubic yards. I give you these numbers to sort of put things in perspective is what we're dealing with here with the debris that you guys were affected by. When we initially, with TEMA's help, when we initially gave the estimates of the cubic yardage for this municipality, we estimated it just on initial estimates of being 15,000 cubic yards. So far, the contractor has collected 20,000 cubic yards, and they're halfway done. I say this so that you guys can maybe make some decisions on what you want to do going forward, because we're currently at a work stoppage. This is a self-imposed work stoppage. by the contractor because he's reached his, what we call the NTE, or the not to exceed dollar amount. And that's where you guys are right now. So you've got approximately 25,000 cubic yards still sitting out there on the right of way. And you've got the park and the trails. Basically, what I'm here to do is answer any questions that you may have to help guide you through the process, and how anything that you have question-wise that I can do to help you guys try to make a decision on going forward. I'm here for that. And I'm here after this meeting for phone calls or whatever. I've met with the mayor and I've met with Mr. Knox, and we've discussed what we need going forward. And then it's up to you guys. But I just wanted to come here tonight, attend this meeting, and make myself available for any questions that you may have as it relates to the debris removal process.
Can you tell everyone your A, B, and C that you explained to me?
Well, I feel like you guys are going to move more towards the B and the C, but let me tell you what A is. You've asked the contractor to collect the debris, and what we're trying not to do is jeopardize your FEMA reimbursement. FEMA has a term that they use when tracking the debris. It's called cradle to grave. What that means is that the municipality has a responsibility through the monitoring company to track it from the time it was picked up on the right-of-way until it gets to the final disposal site. If you don't track it properly, you jeopardize your FEMA funding. With the debris that's already been collected, it's out there sitting at the disposal site, which is on Pinewood Road, and that's the solid waste disposal site area. That debris has not gotten to its final resting place yet. It's at a temporary disposal site. It has been processed, it has been reduced, but it has not been moved to its final resting place. It could just move next door, but it's got to be hauled there, and it's got to be documented hauled there. If you don't document it and haul it there, you're going to jeopardize your FEMA reimbursement just for that process. Now, that's what you have to do at a minimum. Category B is allowing the contractor to finish the process, and that is collecting the rest of the debris and going through the same process of making sure it gets to its final disposal site. The contractor has provided to the city a cost estimate for task number 2, which we're calling it, which will be the completion of the debris. We feel like we got a good handle on the amount of debris that's still out there. It is double what we thought it was going to be, but it's like that across the board to a lot of communities. The third option, obviously, is the park, which can be considered a separate program. What the contractor's going to have to do is they're going to have to go down, and in those trails, they're going to have to methodically go through those trails and take care, remove the hazardous limbs that are above the trail that could fall and injure somebody. And if they're broken, they're going to eventually fall. And as I heard earlier today, a lot of them are still falling. So you've got to, at some point, somebody's got to take care of that. The park process is simply the maintained areas where they cut the grass or where they walk, the trails. They're not going to go deep in the woods and start cutting hazards that are deep in the woods, because that's not going to affect anybody. So it's the maintained areas. So at a minimum, just to recap, at a minimum, you have to take the debris that has already been collected, and you got to take it to its final destination. Second category is you choose to collect the rest of the debris on the right-of-way, and that's task number 2 that the contractor has presented to the city. And that does include monitoring as well, or doesn't include monitoring, but we have done that as well. We've provided the cost for that as well. you can, and then the third category is tackling the park. I would suggest that you use the resources of the contractor and you do them both at the same time and get it over with. But that's going to be up to you guys. But at a minimum, you take care of the debris that's already been collected, or you say that we're going to collect the rest of the debris throughout the city. And then the third thing is that you tackle the park process. That answer your question, Mayor Anderson?
Yes, sir, thank you. I just wanted you to give A, B, and C to, let the board know what those three options are.
And I'm sorry, do we already have a motion to approve so we can discuss?
I'll accept a motion now.
A motion to approve.
That's all y'all need from me?
No, we're going to have questions.
All right.
Waiting for a second.
What is the motion? To approve. Do we have a second? My concern is I want to make sure that it's done the way that FEMA does. Don't want to jeopardize any of the FEMA money at all.
So, Mr. Hall.
We're going to have a discussion, we need to have a second. It doesn't mean that we're going to approve it ultimately,
Okay,
but
I'll second it then.
Okay, so we have a first and a second, so now we'll have discussion.
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini?
Thank you. I just want to get an idea of cost here. Some of the costs that we already have accrued was $1,023,251 for just what's been done so far, which sounds to be about 40% of the debris pickup out in the streets. On the proposal that that I've seen from an email was an additional $1,267,200 to finish cleaning up the streets, with Bowie Park just cutting and dropping at $337,500. That's a total of $2,627,951. My question is not to you, sir, but more towards our CFO, is do we have the funds to support this right now and to move forward? No.
We do not have the funds right now. We would need to take out a loan. The total is $2,969,951 that we would need, with a possibility of using $453,000 from the tree bank, which would be a grand total of $2,517,000 from Cumberland Securities, if we choose to go that route.
What's the interest rate on that loan?
Interest rate is 3 point. Thank you.
This afternoon, and he said that it would be not a guarantee, but a similar rate to what we had for the fire truck, which was 385, is what he expected it to be. So
385.
that is not concrete, not a promise, but
right.
Just given a ballpark.
And that's over how many years?
He suggested to do it the same amount of time. This is all preliminary stuff. We obviously have options whenever we get to that part. But he suggested doing the same amount of time, doing 12 years, and then once we get the money from FEMA, that would be paid back.
Okay.
First 3 years of the note would be interest only. So that's
okay.
What
is there any prepayment penalty?
Sir?
Is there any prepayment penalty?
No.
Okay.
Not that we had discussed, but this is all
what
until we decide what we're going to spend. Then
what would be the ballpark monthly payment or yearly payment on this loan?
If you take the numbers from the fire truck and multiply it by that, I don't know that I have. He hasn't given us a number on that, so I don't know that I would.
My only concern is this something that we're going to be able to afford going forward, because we have a lot of bond money out there as well that we're going to have to start paying back as well. And that's north of, how much do you think the bond money that we currently have right now, I mean, something like $400,000
I believe it's around 450, yes, sir.
per what? Per month?
No.
Per year?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. So $900,000 a year just on the existing bonds that we have just now. And then adding this money onto it as well, that's well over $1 million. I mean, we're talking almost $1.2 million a year in addition funds. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I would, once we decide on what the action plan is, I can get you those numbers,
Right.
what the cost would be. But until we know what action that we're taking, then
Right.
we'll be
So-
able to settle on that.
One of my questions, I don't know if that would be to you, Mr. Knox, or to the board, or to whoever's listening at this point. Are we able to utilize just the tree fund just to work for the park alone so that we can expedite that and get that going?
That is my understanding, and that is where the 450 number came in, was the monitoring plus the cost of doing the work.
So the tree fund would pay just for the park alone, nothing else?
Correct. I do not believe that the tree fund can be used on
Right.
on the
Okay. And
regular roads and stuff.
one other question I have. So when did the contract start? Did it start with FEMA when they acknowledged the contract, or rather the resolution accepting that they're going to help us, or did it start when the contractor started their pickup?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
So my concern is that I've read that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, I'm just asking you a question. If we go past a certain amount of time, does it drop a percentage every 30 days?
Got you. So Ms. Jones and I talked with FEMA last Friday, and then we talked again, I believe it was Tuesday. But we set a meeting date for April 21st, and that from the start of that date, we have 60 days to get everything turned in.
Okay.
That is, I have not heard anything about
So no penalizing after that? From
after
point
that,
on?
but everything, I mean, every invoice and everything needs to be in after that 60 days from 4/21.
Okay. And to the contractor, what would be your time frame to have all the debris picked up, or rather, take the park? When would we be able to open our park?
Well, I cannot speak for the contractor, except to tell you that I have spoken to him, and the numbers are based on 4 weeks.
Okay. Thank you I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mayor.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you. Mr. Parker, thank you so much for being here tonight, for laying out all this information. So clearly, it's good to have information to work with, and helps us moving forward. And Mr. Knox, just you're going to be on deck, but thank you so much for stepping in tonight too, and managing this. It's helpful to have. Just about the 4 weeks of work that the contractor spoke with you about, is it possible that would be done sooner? Or do these let me rephrase what I'm asking. Do these contracts always take the full amount of time that's estimated from the beginning?
Not always, and one of the disadvantages that the contractor and myself has is that we have not really been in the park and made a full assessment. We have a product that we utilize, that we used for the city roads, where we do mapping, where we go in and we do 360 mapping, kind of like your Google Maps, and we did that with the city, and it's a product that we provide where we go through and we map the entire area. So we have, increments of snapshots of the debris that's on the right of way. And we want to do that for the park as well, and that's go in and we traverse the entire trail, we photograph everything, and that gives us a better snapshot of what we're dealing with. And the same with the contractor. The contractor is basing their figures right now on 2,500 units, and that's 2,500 trees that have damaged limbs in them. They don't get per cut, they get per tree. They only get one ticket per tree, so that's a thing that you might want to know about. But they're basing on 2,500. It could be less than that. It could be more than that. They do this for a living, and I think their number is probably based on their experience. But we would have a better idea if we were allowed to go into the park and do the proper mapping.
Okay, thank you. And then shifting gears to the city outside of the park, so just the rest of the city. I understand that the initial estimate that we had was based on what was on the ground at the time that the estimate was run.
Correct.
But that more debris has been brought to the curbsides.
That's correct.
And so that's increased the estimate in dollars and in time.
That's correct.
So you do this for a living.
Sure.
Do you have guidance for us on what to tell people, the city is listening right now, about how to prepare for this and what you've seen in other cities to help manage our resources and to make sure we can get this done?
Sure. Your public service announcement that you put out, I believe it was the 20th of February, announcing to the public that you've hired a contractor to collect the debris, and that they had until the 16th of March to put the debris out to their right-of-way. My personal advice, based on my experience, and if this were my community, my personal advice would be follow through. I mean, that's me personally. You ask, my personal advice would be to follow through, get the debris collected. I don't believe the city has the resources with their Public Works Department to collect this debris. Matter of fact, I've talked with Mr. Todd, and he says he doesn't. It's unfortunate that you guys are in this position. And I see lots of disasters. I've seen floods, Kentucky floods, fires, wildfires, and it impacts the community, and people are incensed with what's going on. I mean, but it is a historic event. You know, 95 counties were affected by this event. 23 were greatly impacted by it. And all these communities are dealing with the same thing. But they're figuring out a way to make it, to get it picked up, and it's got to be picked up. So that's my personal advice.
Thank you. And I just have one more question for you. So there was discussion in previous meetings, and I've had questions from some people. So I would like you to help us understand the importance of going through this company, through Phillips, and using your monitoring service in regards to getting the reimbursements from FEMA and, if possible, through TEMA also.
Sure. Well, we are state approved, the monitoring company and Phillips. As a matter of fact, you guys are utilizing the state contract. Misty was in eastern Tennessee last year for Hurricane Helene that impacted that part of Tennessee greatly with the flooding. So we have lots of experience doing this. I've been with this company for 9 years, and this is what we do, is we document, verify, oversee the contractor picking up, and we assist you guys in getting your reimbursement money back. That's our job, and that's why you hired us.
Will the government reimburse, the government reimbursement process is long and it's precise and there is a lot to it, and they won't reimburse for just any contractor, from what I understand.
You have to, you have to follow the FEMA guidelines as outlined in their publication. And that's what our job is to do, is to make sure that it's documented properly, that the contractor, we're making load calls, quantifying the debris. We have a tower that we have to go up in, and as a truck comes through, we have to quantify that debris based on our experience. We have a monitor following the truck to make sure that truck is collecting debris, that their skid steer is not going onto private property and grabbing it, so that, that's our job.
Thank you. And Mr. Knox, I just had a quick question, then I'll leave it to other board members. So we've talked about this for just a moment, but when it comes to the tree bank fund, that would be paid out separately than the rest of the loan. Could you just walk through that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Please lay this out just so that we understand how the accounting will work, please.
Yes, I guess the goal with that would just be to decrease, to kind of buy down what we'd be borrowing, just to decrease the amount of interest. Obviously, it's better to, if, say, roughly borrow $450,000 less and not have to pay interest on that. If we could use the tree bank funds, it would allow us to do that.
Okay, and then.
It would take the 2.9 number down around 2.5.
Thank you. And then do you know what the percentages are, maybe not dollar amounts, but the percentages of reimbursement that we would expect so that this wouldn't be a full loan that we would expect to fully pay back? Like the benefit of the loan is that we get to pay, I think, interest only, right? For the
Correct.
first 5 years. And within that time, we would receive the reimbursement. So that would help us immensely.
That's the idea of how it would be engineered, yes, ma'am.
Yes. And what's the percentage of the reimbursement that we would get?
From FEMA?
Yes, sir.
75.
75%. Okay.
With a possible 12.5 coming from TEMA,
And how do we find out, or when do we find out about that?
just whenever, if it's awarded or not, yeah.
Okay.
We should
Thank
find
you.
out with through the FEMA process.
Great. Thank you so
They would
much. I
put us in
appreciate it.
contact with that. I wanted to tell you that I gave you a bad number. I should have said there's two. We have 21A bond and 21B bond. So instead of twice, there's two separate ones is what I should have said. 243 and 450.
Ben, have we made any payments at all yet? Have we made any payments at all yet?
For the tree removal?
Yeah.
No, sir.
None whatsoever. Okay. Do they need reimbursement first before they can move forward? Or
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
will they need reimbursement of any kind, like a draw on the account or anything like that before they move forward?
Question, please.
Will they need any draw on the account before they move forward?
I don't believe so.
You
No,
think-
I can't speak for the contractor, but generally, it's, the task is completed, and then it's usually net 30, I believe.
So then we would have time to make our loan?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
And I can speak for our company, we would be able to work with you on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. I think, first off, I think we're all in agreement that this needs to be dealt with, right? We can't ignore it. The park needs to be open. There's hazards that are going to become more and more of a problem with the debris that's all over the city as spring comes and rodents and everything else that comes with that. So I just want to state that. We all want to solve this problem. However, I guess my concern, and Ben, this is probably more for you, I guess just knowing our financial situation, this is a two-part question, one for each of you. How confident are you that we can manage our way through this with the amount of debt services that would be owed?
Yeah, I think that it's important to remember that at least 75% of the money is reimbursable.
Sure.
And that we would just be paying interest on that, so I think it's not quite as big and scary as the whole amount, obviously.
Sure, yeah, the whole amount's terrifying. It's really, the floating of it is the hard part, right? And then the question mark of when will the government get around to it?
Yeah, and
I mean,
trust me, I wish we had an answer to that.
They say, 36 months on the long end, but they've been shut down for months now. They're probably going to have staffing issues when they open back up and a backlog. So I would imagine that 36 months is probably very optimistic at this point. Just something to consider, not a question for you. My question for you, sir, would be, and please don't take offense to this.
I won't.
how confident can we be that we won't be talking to you again before the job is done, saying that we hit our, I'm sorry, our max, and we need to bring more money forward?
That's a good question. I believe that we should enter into a not-to-exceed agreement again. Like I said earlier, I feel pretty confident that the amount of debris that's on the ground now is about equal to what we've already collected. I don't have a lot of confidence in the numbers for the park, but I believe within a few days, getting access to the park, I could become more confident in that.
Would you, this is only if you're comfortable to do so, give a best estimate to if that park number is off, by how much you would venture it to be off in your experience?
Well, initially, I said, based on I did a park similar to this with the same mileage in Sugar Land, Texas for Hurricane Beryl, and we only had about 1,100 units for that park, and that was a Category 3 hurricane that came through Sugar Land, Texas. I've seen a snippet of your park and some of the damage. I've seen the photographs. But I initially said to Mr. Knox when I spoke to him earlier that I thought maybe the number was high, but it might not be high. Sure. But I cannot speak for the number without me assessing it or my team assessing it. And I think if we were to get to the park, after the Easter break, we could get to the park and we could assess it and we could give you, from our standpoint, a number. But the contractor has to agree with us. Contractor is the one that is billing you for the cuts. All we're doing is documenting the work.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm sure, talking to Mr. Briggs, who works for Phillips, that he would be willing to have he or his designee go in the park with us as early as Tuesday, or maybe as early as Monday, and assess that park correctly. That's what we do.
Thank you.
Okay.
One final question for Mr. Knox. Sorry about this. Back and forth here. Do you feel that, and only answer this if you feel you can, do you feel that taking out this loan will negatively impact any future plans that, as far as what we need currently, other needs, and we have a lot of needs in the city beyond this ice storm. No one asked for it. This is out of left field, and it's just a problem we have to deal with. But I'm just wondering what impact that would have on future financial decisions until that loan is paid back. Is there any insight that you can give to that?
It would definitely be a better scenario if we didn't have to.
Sure.
Yeah. Offhand specifically, I guess, no.
Yeah. I guess the reason for the questions is just that we know, and this isn't for you, you can sit down, I'm sorry to keep you standing, but like I said, we know we need to fix this. It's just we want to be very careful in how we go about fixing it and not put ourselves in a difficult situation. And it's just a very unsettling decision, having a lot of variables that are still, I guess, open for discussion. But I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini.
Thank you. My biggest concern, and I want the city to understand that, we're being asked for $3 million right now to take a loan out for $3 million near enough, or $2.5 million once we take from the tree bank, with the anticipation in years to get that money back. We also are going to have to take a loan out to purchase a fire truck at $1 million. Plus the bonds that are here as well. That's my concern. I just wanted to put that out there, that we have a lot of money coming up, including our budget, and I just feel like, I mean, I don't think we're going to be in a financial position in a year from now to be even, maybe to pay some of that back. I don't know, until we have a city manager in place that can help us organize things a little bit better. I just wanted to state that before we make our vote. I'm all for using the tree bank to get our park open. I just feel, and I feel our community can help a little bit by perhaps cleaning up their own properties, just helping a little bit. I know it's springtime and a lot of people pruned and got some stuff out there. I just wish that our city would help. I mean, I know that Commissioner Roberts has been out there on several weekends doing it herself with her crew from the United Way. And gosh, I mean, I was out there as well. It was a lot. And it just seems like it's growing after this ice storm. It keeps growing. And my fear is that we're going to get to a point where we're going to spend $3 million and we're not going to have, we're still going to have debris out there. So I'm just asking that the city kind of help us out, all the residents. Please, if you have the means or the possibility or the chance or the opportunities, please help us and clean up the city. We'll do what we can for Bowie Park because we want to get that open. But the city streets and all that, we need help with that. I just wanted to put that out there. We need to operate the city like a business, not a debit card.
Mayor, I have one more question. I'm sorry.
Vice Mayor.
Mr. Carter, I think this question would be for you. Since the city has given direction to the citizens to get the debris to the right-of-way, if we were to not act on removing what remains, there's been concerns brought up to me from citizens that there's line of sight issues, not to mention a plethora of other things. Is there a liability to the city that we should be considering in this discussion as well?
I don't know if it's appropriate for me to talk about legal exposure.
Sure.
But certainly, line of sight issues are a concern. I would hope that when citizens move debris to the street, they're not putting it, right in the line of sight. I know when I do this at home, I try to keep it in my yard and back from the street, so it's not blocking anyone's view, where the truck can still come get it. So there's some thought that needs to go into that. But I'm not going to comment on legal exposure, and I think it would be very specific as to each situation and scenario. I think it will cause, I can tell you, it will cause a problem maintaining the right-of-way until it's cleaned up.
Sure.
So,
thank you.
Mayor.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you. And thanks for that question and answer. That's helpful. This is just for the board for discussion. If we commit to this and to do it, I think that the city has to put out some pretty clear guidance to everybody about what we do from here. So when would you have debris put out to the curb and when is it cut off? I don't know if there are creative solutions to helping find things in the budget. If we commit to this as a city and to funding it, then do we, and please, this is merely creative thinking here, okay? Do we run our chipper service this year, or do we find a way to help offset the cost because of the immense and unexpected storm cleanup? We might have to think creatively about our resources and the offsetting because of this. This is unprecedented. None of us caused it, and we do have to clean the city. I think that we're all in agreement about that. And absolutely the safety issues. Someone emailed me today, there's concern, there's weeds growing, there could be snakes, there could be other things that just start living in these piles. We have to clean our city up. There's no option. And And I agree with you, the park needs to be a huge priority. But we have to have people safe in there. So I don't think there's any really happy answer to this because it's going to be a big dollar sign, but maybe there are some ways that we can find to make those interest payments a little bit more palatable. What I would like to have is a better idea, Mr. Knox, of what our payments are on these bonds, just so that we know what we have and then to see what that looks like in an accounting. Because we'll have to think about how we're going to cover all of these costs. And we have the 2 bonds already. We have the capital outlay plan that we approved for the fire truck. And then there's this cleanup. And then we have 2 matching grants that are also on the table. I think one is approved and one is, the application has just been put out. And we need to know exactly where we sit with this. So that's my point for discussion. I don't know what part of it anybody would like to pick up, if anything.
Mayor, no discussion on that if you don't mind, but I took an hour and a half this afternoon and drove throughout the city once again, as I do several times since this happened. We still have several dangerous areas out there around curves where the limbs and stuff are right in the edge of the curve. Some of them are actually still in the road. So once there's a decision made on the actual moving forward with it, can those be addressed first, do you think, Mr. Parker?
Yes, we refer to that as hot spots, and at the city can direct the contractor to go address those areas.
Yeah, I think Todd can drive around and warn y'all of the ones.
And let me add something, if I may, for the What It's Worth Department. Hazardous tree removal in the city has already been completed, and that's part of the original task.
Right.
And there was approximately 900 hazardous limbs that have been removed already by the contractor. Mm-hmm. And that was all part of the original task. And there's no more of those unless they were overlooked that are in the city. So all those have been taken care of citywide.
I think these are what I'm running into. I think they've been added to that.
Yeah. Yes.
Since y'all went through.
Good.
So, but anyway, I was just curious what could be done first. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. You can direct the contractor to tackle the hot spots first.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini?
I have a quick question. I don't know if this would be, it's not directed at you, sir.
Okay.
Would we be able to amend this resolution just to fund the park cleanup first until we have a better knowledge of monies that are going to be spent on our current bonds and loans? I don't know who to address that question to.
So we want to take out 2 different loans possibly?
No, ma'am. What I'm saying is that we do have the funds to clean up Bowie Park with our tree fund. So would that be a separate resolution? Or what I'm saying is, instead of moving forward with the entire city being cleaned for debris removal and monitoring service, can we just focus right now on opening Bowie Park with our tree fund? It seems to be that there's enough money in there that we can fund that, and then look to see what our funds are going to be, what the loans are going to be, the interest rates, payments going forward with everything we have as far as bonds coming up shortly.
So concisely, the answer to your question is yes, you could decide to do that. Now, whether you should decide to do that or whether that's the best way forward, the board needs to decide that. But could you limit the scope of the resolution? Sure.
Mr. Carter, would I make a formal amendment for that, or?
Yeah, you would need to amend the resolution, but probably there should be some discussion to see if the other board members agree or not. I don't know, and I think that's at least worth the discussion. I would encourage the board to discuss that.
Right. I'll leave that open for discussion.
Let me say one thing. So we've got an estimated scope of 337,500. Mr. Parker, I have a question. So I'm not comfortable with that figure until the contractor and yourself go through the park and make sure that's accurate.
I agree with that.
I do not believe that our tree bank, it could possibly not be enough. So if we were to amend it to say that our tree bank's going to pay for this, there's a good possibility that it's not enough money. We need more accurate information, and the only way we can get that is for you and the contractor to go through the park and get us a great, a better
Assessment,
figure.
yes, I agree.
Well, I've got a question, if I may. Would it make sense for us to, and this assumes that that the contractor would be able to get into the park in the next few days, to get us a more accurate estimate on the park, for Mr. Knox to do some of the accounting, and for us to try to get together for a special session before our next meeting, hopefully maybe next week, to just make a determination based off of the information that we have? Because I think that we all seem a little uneasy about that. And this is just a thought. Other people also are welcome to speak. But I was just listening to the mayor talk, and I was wondering, we have to know how much the park is before we can allocate any of the tree fund to the total amount, or we'll be in violation of that. So we can't allot any more of the tree fund money to pay toward the larger amount that goes $1 over what it costs to clean up the park. So we can't even really agree on amounts until we have that settled and known also. It feels like we might need one more session after we get more information, but I don't think that needs to wait 2 weeks until our next meeting.
I agree with that. I think that's an excellent idea.
Again, I cannot speak for the contractor's availability over the next couple of days because of the Easter break. I can tell you that I have personnel that could get in the park as early as tomorrow. Our 360 crew, I'm not sure. I'll have to check with them to see how soon they could mobilize. They'll be coming out of Maitland, Florida. I'm not sure if we may already have the equipment here since we're working with other communities. But as soon as you give us the go-ahead, and this is at no cost to the city, we will make an assessment.
Can you make the assessment on your own, or do you have to have the contractor as well?
Well, generally, we like to have the contractor there and possibly even a representative from the city to make an assessment. That way, everybody agrees, on the numbers. But I can make an assessment. I can make an assessment without the contractor being present. But I would certainly have to have discussion with him about it and provide the data that we provide and see if he would agree on it based on that. But we've worked together a lot, so it's I'm in agreement with you guys that assessment is the next step for the park.
And I did want to point out that you did, like you said, the 360, footage, whether it be drone or Google.
Yeah, basically it's a camera that goes down the road and takes snapshots of the area. Mhm.
So in the beginning, when you did that, we had a cleanup estimate of 633,000 and the park 337. But in the time between the assessment and when you got started, a certain amount of additional debris was put to the road, which increased the amount.
Yeah, we got a late start in this community with the debris collection. It wasn't until we actually didn't start till the 17th, and we started discussions with the city around the middle of February, and that's not unprecedented. That happens a lot. Everybody's got to get their ducks in a row. But like Williamson County, the county roads, we started pretty quick, and it's basically wrapped up. But by starting late, it allowed more debris to get pushed out there. A lot of times when the residents, when their debris has been picked up, they figure out a way not to put any more back out there. They don't want to. They want their grass to grow or whatever. But because we started collection late, I think it added to the collection to the debris a little bit.
And there's really not a way to give a deadline and not.
You certainly can give a deadline.
You can give a deadline, but it's not always adhered to.
Right. And generally what we do is we have the ability, the contractor makes a pass, and while we're picking up the debris on our system, we're documenting, we're taking pictures of the right of way, we're taking pictures of the pile, we're documenting the piles as they go down the road. And you have the ability to say to Mr. Smith on that road that road was collected on this particular date, and here's the data. Because a lot of times the residents they'll just do spring cleaning, and it'll be debris not related to the event, which is technically not eligible. So
the quadrants that you've already completed, if people keep putting debris out, they're not going to be.
Well, there's generally multiple passes. Say, for instance, the city of Brentwood, they're making 3-4 passes, and they come in, they make the first pass, and then they push out more debris, and they make the second pass. But you can certainly set a deadline in a PSA saying that all debris after this date that's not put out there. Well, you actually did create a deadline. You said prior to the 16th. Which is 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So you have already created a deadline. But I believe that the contractor that makes this next pass to collect the rest of this debris, including the hot spots that Mr. Hall mentioned, that I think the complaints will come down pretty quickly.
It's just very concerning that we set a deadline and it's not been adhered to, which has pretty much doubled the cost. And somewhere it's just, the passes have got to stop so
Absolutely.
that our money does, it's capped.
Absolutely.
Mayor,
Mr. Hall.
some of the trees that I've seen that's been cut, I don't think any residents had a chance to get them big logs put up to the front. I mean, they were big trees. And now they're up there for us to take care of getting done. It looked like it was cut down by a professional, and now it's up to the taxpayers to foot their bill now.
Yeah, that's always an issue when you're dealing with with residents that hire commercial contractors to cut it down. They sometimes they leave it in the yard for the resident to take care of, or they push it out there, and technically, if they're getting paid to do it, they're supposed to be paid to haul it off. And it's hard to monitor that and hard to keep track of that, but that certainly does happen. Yes, sir.
So I guess bottom line, moving forward, next steps, we need to get you and somebody from the the contractor in the park to give us a good estimate. And I don't think we probably have the time to wait 2 weeks because we've got a deadline to meet on the payment. So I guess we're going to have to make a decision on how much time do you think it would take to get the estimate together after you go through the park?
Misty, you've been in the park. Do you think that we could do it this weekend with some personnel? We could probably have you something by Monday.
And I don't want to interfere with anybody's Easter. That's not my intent.
I understand that. But we're all on the same team, and we're willing to do it.
I'm not going to direct you not to. So how does the board feel about, we'll have to call a special meeting?
We do what we have to do.
Okay.
You know, the contractor's not, they're definitely gone for the break. I know across all communities, they're truck drivers, they leave and go home. So they're not, their travel day coming back for Goodlettsville and for all the other communities that we represent is not until, their travel day is Monday, so they won't be back until Tuesday. I can call Mr. Briggs and we can make our initial assessment over the weekend or maybe Monday. I would say that if you were to set a special meeting to go over these numbers or to discuss it, say Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I believe that the contractor, especially if you've indicated that you're possibly going to move forward with the debris collection in the city as well, the balance of it, that they'll be more than happy to accommodate us in getting the assessments done and going to work right away.
Would we open to a Tuesday evening meeting, perhaps?
I wouldn't be able to make it on Tuesday, but I could be here on Wednesday.
I'm available on Wednesday as well, if everyone else is.
I would be more comfortable with a Wednesday.
So Wednesday, April 8th at 7? Is that good with everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
During the day would be impossible, but Wednesday evening would be fine.
Okay, so let's see. We're gonna have to amend the motion to defer this until we get to the I would say defer it to the special meeting when we get better information of how much it's gonna cost.
A motion to defer till April
Till
8th.
April 8th on Tuesday.
7 PM, and then you need a second.
Sorry, Wednesday.
Yep.
Second.
And I would encourage you that if you decide to go with the balance of the city, that you direct the contractor to do both at the same time. The park and in other words, not wait for one for the other.
Okay.
Park being the priority.
So are you saying we would do the cleanup of the park first and then?
No, I would say you ask the contractor to bring in the resources to do them both at the same time.
Do both at the same time?
Correct.
Okay, so.
And I believe he has the resources to do that.
Okay. And that would help to mitigate further debris, additional debris being pushed to the roadside.
Yeah, if the park's the only thing, if you're just holding up for the park, then you direct the contractor to start work Tuesday or Wednesday with the balance of the city, and he'll already have resources here. I mean, he's got them close by anyway.
Okay, so we've got a motion to defer to April 8th on Wednesday, and a second. Ms. Jones?
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts.
Aye.
Mayor?
Item 10A for deferment till Wednesday, April, what do we say, 8th? Is that what it is?
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini?
I think Mr. Knox had a comment. Did you want to say something briefly?
All I was going to say for numbers-wise for the note, I would not be positive that he would have that if we were going to get the information on Monday.
I'm sorry, say that again.
If we're going to get the information on Monday, I don't know that he's going to have it by then. We may have round numbers by then, but I would not expect them to be hard numbers at all.
For
the note.
Okay.
For an estimation of the note. I wouldn't expect.
No, I'm just, I think the board, before we can move forward with anything, needs hard numbers or a good estimate on what the whole number looks like.
Certainly,
So that
yeah.
we can, yeah. So I guess the next step would be moving forward to decide if we're going to agree on taking out a note.
Yeah, like I said, I think that he would have a round number. I would not expect him to have something that you could say 100%. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not by Wednesday.
I agree with that.
Just
Okay.
for expectation wise. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Mr. Parker, I will make sure that we take a tour of the park with Keith Paisley, our park director, to get that information for you. You've got my number. Just let me know when you're available.
Okay, sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I believe Keith is on vacation
Next week?
this
I
week.
thought he was
Yeah,
on vacation this week.
yeah, this week.
Okay.
We can just get access to the park with vehicles that we can drive in there and make sure that the police department knows we're supposed to be there.
I'll make sure you have access to the
Okay,
park.
very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item 10B, ordinance 2026-02, final reading, an ordinance of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, repealing the current adopted Fairview zoning ordinance and zoning map and adopting a new development code entitled the Fairview, Tennessee Development Code and a new zoning map. Mr. Greer?
Thank you, Mayor. This item is before you tonight for the second and final reading. This has been a process that began about 18 months ago in July of 2024. Just to give a quick recap on the history of this, we hired Town Planning and Urban Design Collaborative, TPUDC, as our consultant to draft our new development code, recognizing that our current zoning ordinance originated back in 1987 for the city, had gone through several amendments and iterations that ultimately made it challenging for staff to use and challenging for developers to utilize as well. We engaged in a public process where TPUDC came out and hosted meetings with the public. They hosted events here at City Hall. They worked out of City Hall for a week, talking to citizens during business hours and throughout the nights that week. Ultimately, that resulted in a client draft that came to staff for our review. Once our review was complete with that from our staff level, we sent it back to them and they made the corrections that we asked for and the changes that we asked for. And they came out and did their public draft presentation and released the public draft to the public. There was a 30-day public comment period where citizens submitted comments to our office, the planning department, and we reviewed those comments as a staff and incorporated some of the ideas, some of the things that some citizens wanted were not incorporated. Mainly, there are several state laws that direct municipalities what you can and can't control. Some of the things were outside of the scope of what a municipality legally has the ability to put within a zoning ordinance. And so we reviewed those thoroughly, went through those items, submitted comments back to TPUDC. They drafted a final draft, which y'all have before you tonight. We hosted 3 public hearings, 1 at the Planning Commission and 2 here at the Board of Commissioners for the public to comment on the final draft. The Planning Commission sent this to you all with a positive recommendation. Staff forwarded this to you with positive recommendation. Y'all have adopted it, or passed the first reading, and tonight we're here for the second reading. Again, included in your packet were the recommendations from the Planning Commission. Those are only recommendations at this time. If you wish to incorporate those into the ordinance, those will need to be incorporated by amendments. I do want to thank each of you, Commissioner Hall, Vice Mayor McDonald, Mayor Anderson, Commissioner Roberts, Commissioner Buffalini, for your involvement over the last year time of the effort that y'all have all put in, reading through the document, making comments, giving opportunities for staff to explain items to you, and making sure that y'all are the most educated to make the decision. And so with that, I'm open to answer any questions that you all may have. We also have Curtis here tonight with our consultant engineer to answer any engineering-related questions as well.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion from the board.
Is this the right time to make an amendment to that we've already done? So,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I'm going to read the amendment, and thank you, Ethan, for getting this together for me and clarifying it. This is to amend the ordinance to state that CD-3L, CD-3, CD-4, and CD-4C within the building standards, the building composition finished floor shall read as following: 18-inch minimum, 36-inch maximum above grade at front facade. The request may be submitted to and approved by the city engineer to reduce in the finished floor elevation. The city engineer shall not approve a finished floor elevation of less than 6 inches above front facade. And as my goal was this, is for the families that have handicapped families where they have to use wheelchairs, motorized vehicles to get in and out. This is a very hard situation if you don't have at least the front facade able to do this. So that's my amendment that I've been working for, and thank you for getting it together for me. Thank you.
You're welcome, and that was provided to each of you. It's up on your desk. I knew at the last meeting, Commissioner Hall had requested that and wanted to make sure that all of you had the proper wording in front of you if you wanted to review it as we're going through this.
Point of order, Mr. Carter, should we wait until all the amendments are discussed before we make a motion to adopt, to add the amendments, or do we need to do these one by one?
I would do them one by one,
All
I
right,
think.
I'll second your motion, Mr. Hall.
Thank you.
I've got a quick question. This is for Mr. Greer. Do you see any challenges or difficulties with administering this, or does it change anything about any of the buildings that might be in a floodplain, or do you have any concerns about the amendment?
Specifically, the administration of this item, buildings within the floodplain have certain regulations that are not within the sections that Commissioner Hall here just made a motion to amend. And the reason that we put the city engineer would be the reviewer and approval of this would be that we could address those concerns with their plot plan approval if there were concerns. I believe the rest of this document definitely covers floodplain development and items within floodways. And so for this particular item, having the city engineer review and approve it on a case-by-case basis, I think is probably the best and simplest way for us to administer this.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Jones?
Just for a point of order, we are voting on the amendment
Yes.
that Mr. Hall made, that was seconded by Vice Mayor McDonald.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Okay, the amendment passes 5-0.
Mayor.
Mr. Roberts?
Thank you. I have two motions to amend, please, but we can do them separately. The first motion is to amend the ordinance in page 4, 143. This is the section that governs adult-oriented business, limited use standards. Substantively, there was no change, but there is a clause that is virtually unreadable, and I'm making a motion to remove. So the ordinance, my motion is to amend the ordinance to remove 4.3.9.d.6.d4. It reads right now, no such use shall be located within 50 feet of any district that does not permit any residential use or any existing non-residential use. We had a long conversation about it, and it's not really does anything at all, so I'm just making a motion to remove.
Second.
Are we going to number these amendments so we keep them clear?
I think Ethan and Rachel are numbering the amendments as they're made.
Okay.
Rachel keeps very careful notes, and Ethan's aware of the amendments. He's been working with the individual commissioners individually on these various amendments, so.
Yeah, these are printed out, so once we get past these, we'll have to make sure our language is carefully documented.
Meaning if you start to get creative and come with things that no one's expecting, then it could get interesting. But as long as we're keeping with things that were brought to Ethan's attention already, we are in good shape, Mayor.
Okay, so we have a first and a second on amendment number 2. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Amendment number 2 passes 5-0.
Thank you. And then my second, I move to amend 8.3.5.b.3 to state the appointment to the Historic Zoning Commission to match. We have the Zoning Commission mentioned in 2 different locations in this document, and the appointment of the Zoning Commission was inconsistent from Section 8 to Article 3. By statute, the Article 3 language is what is legally required for the creation of the Historic Zoning Commission, so my motion is to make these sections match by updating Section 8.3.5.b.3 to match the language in Article 3 wording, which is the correct wording per the Tennessee state law.
Second.
We have a first and a second for amendment number 3. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Amendment number 3 passes 5-0.
Mayor, if I may.
Vice Mayor McDonald?
This is not too big of a curveball. I think everybody kind of knows this one was going to be discussed. However, I know Ethan is aware of it, or Mr. Greer, my apologies, is aware of it as well. It had been talked about, and this is just, again, I would just like to get everyone's opinions on it. I understand the intent behind the language to require larger garages moving forward. However, I think that we could potentially cause difficulties or issues since it would be such a unique situation specific to our community and our regulations. Not that I'm against that. I just want us, I guess, just to really think about it. You will require new drawings, new architectural design, all of that, which will lead to a more expensive product at the end of the day. It's not going to retroactively enlarge any already existing garages. I'm not sure. To me, it seems like a little bit of overreach to tell someone how they have to build their house as far as size of garage. I mean, if they were going to do that, we would be getting into how big pantries should be and how big your back porch should be. I mean, it just, to me, it seems like it's too much, in my opinion, but I would like to hear everyone else's.
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini?
Thank you. I agree with that. I've been dabbling, looking at that as well, and I agree with the overreach. I don't think that's something that we should be justifying right now, but how do we move forward with this? Are we able to make an amendment for that one item right now without it? Like, what would be the verbiage amendment?
Move to eliminate that provision
Okay,
or accordingly.
gotcha. Thank you.
Mr. Greer, do you have a page number?
4-28, but if you'll give me one moment, I will have you language for an amendment.
If I'm not mistaken, this particular requirement is listed on multiple pages throughout the zoning ordinance because it's all specified in different districts. So we would have to just make sure we catch them all, if you will.
Vice Mayor McDonald, is the intent to reduce the interior dimensions of a single-car garage or a double-car garage? Single-car garage is listed within the code currently as 12 feet by 22 feet for a single car, and a double-car garage is listed in the code as a 24 by 24 interior dimension.
I believe the initial dimensions were 10 by 20 and 20 by 20. Is that correct?
That's
I believe that's market standard too, for the most part, or I just want to see it go back to that, I guess.
And I just suppose in all of the conversation about this, has there been a rationale for why we would want the larger garages?
This was one of the items that was brought to our office from citizens' comments. There have been, out of all of the comments, I've found it hard to believe that this was one of their sticking points, but it was one of the citizens' comments that came in on a more consistent basis to have a larger garage space.
If I may, this is a major point of contention in Spring Hill with tract developments. You often have limited road frontage and you have short driveways. And when the garage is not sufficient to park pickup trucks and other large vehicles, SUVs that people drive, they tend to park them in the short driveway. And then they block the sidewalk that goes from the front, which then creates a problem, or they try to park them in the street, which often is against the HOA regulation. Even when they're allowed in the street, it causes problems with your fire trucks and your police cars trying to access the neighborhood, and then you end up with a safety issue. That would be the rationale of having a larger garage, to encourage people to park in their garage. However, even if you have a larger garage, that people may just use it as a storage facility, and then you may still have the problem. So it's a proposed remedy to fix a very real problem. However, it doesn't mean that it's going to fix the problem. People will be people, and they will collect their stuff.
To add to that briefly, Commissioner McDonald, you are correct. I mean, the standard usually is what was stated in the original draft of the zoning ordinance. I would say that the sizes of vehicles have increased over time, and maybe that size is no longer, is my opinion, appropriate for the size vehicles we're seeing today. So that's also provides just reasoning to why we increase the minimum.
It is, however, a minimum. If someone were to want a larger space, they're always welcome to build larger. Vice Mayor McDonald, the language that I would propose is to amend the ordinance to state within Character District 2, Character District 2W, Character District 3L, Character District 3, Character District 4, and Character District 4C within the vehicular parking requirements, garage design, minimum interior dimensions shall be 10 by 20 for a single car garage and 20 by 20 for double car garage.
Commissioner McDonald, do you have access to your email currently?
I do.
I think we're going to send that to you, so you can just read it off if you would still like to.
Or Commissioner, you could just say,
Yeah.
so moved.
Yeah.
Adopt the language that was stated, and that might be the
So
easier
moved
thing.
as stated by Mr. Greer.
Second?
I would just like to add, I understand the intent of what the design, what the request was. However, it's a minimum at the end of the day. There are plenty of people that also drive small cars and would rather not spend the additional money that would be required to have the extra space and as well as the additional costs that the product would have after architectural designs were needing to be adjusted and redrawn. And I think it's, again, it's not preventing anyone from, you can have as big a garage as you want. It's just, I don't think we need to tell anybody how, that's just my opinion.
We have a first and second for Amendment 4. Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts. Aye. Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item Amendment 4 passes 5-0.
Mayor.
Commissioner Roberts?
Thank you. We have the document with the amendment recommendations from the Planning Commission. First, I'd like to acknowledge the time and effort that they put into reviewing the code and the conversation that we had about these in our joint work session was really helpful. I think that we've reviewed these for a while. What I would maybe recommend, unless Mr. Carter doesn't think this is a good idea, is for us to motion to approve them if there's no changes to them as a whole, unless we have to go through each at a time and do a motion and approval.
Well, it will depend on if you all agree that all of those changes should be made. Now, if some of you think some of them should be made and not others, then we probably need to do them one by one, because we will have a mess trying to determine what we're approving, what we're not. So on the outset, does everyone agree that the planning commission amendments as a in toto should be made? Or does anyone disagree with some of them?
Would like to ask a question for clarification on one of the items, if possible. This is regarding item 5, added limited use standard of decentralized wastewater must be furthest possible location from public right-of-way and adjacent property lines. Not against it. I just want to make sure that the wording isn't going to cause any issues, because to me, that just means it's got to be in the dead center of the property. I mean, adjacent property lines and right-of-way, I mean, it's all 4 edges, and it's got to be the furthest from all of them. I mean, that's basically, it's going to be dead center in the middle.
The intent behind the furthest location from the public right-of-way and adjacent property lines for decentralized, those are located where the soils are available for those types of systems to be able to be installed. The intent behind the wording in there is to hide them from plain view sight.
And I'm in agreement with that piece of it, 100%. I just want to make sure that the wording of this isn't going to cause issues. That's all I'm asking. If you're comfortable with the wording of it, then I have no issues.
It could be a piece that we issue an interpretation on. We could also add the word possible, furthest possible location. I mean, at the end of the day, we are not deciding the location of that facility.
Sure.
TDEC and Water Authority of Dixon County, through their process, will ultimately decide where that system gets installed. But our intent from the city was to try and keep those away from adjacent property lines, because we have heard in here the concerns of citizens with having decentralized wastewater drip fields close to property lines, especially citizens that are on wells. And the intent behind that was to accomplish that. I agree with you, the wording could have potentially been more clear in there, but that was the intent behind it. And Curtis, you have a couple things.
Yeah, just to add to that briefly, I think it provides good language for us as staff if we have a unique and I'll say rare scenario where we have an abundance of availability for soils to be used, and the developer says, I want to put it in front of the right-of-way, the main entrance, due to cost, but he's got an option to put it further back out of sight. I think that provides a good use there. But I agree with Ethan. I think there could be a little bit modification to the language.
Yeah,
to make
I
it
don't
more
want to
clear.
change the intent of what was here at all. It's
I will
just-
state, I've skipped over 2 very important words in there. It says the furthest location from the public right-of-way and adjacent property lines as possible.
Yeah.
So it already states that. So there is it gives us the opportunity to give input on where that is located.
With that, I am good with the list from the Planning Commission.
Okay, so if everyone is good with the list, then we just simply need a motion to approve the proposed
Amendment recommendations from the Planning Commission.
amendments. Thank you. Had a senior moment or a blonde moment or something. The amendments proposed by the Planning Commission.
Okay, motion to approve the amendments proposed by the Planning Commission.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Roberts?
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Amendments proposed by the Planning Commission, approved 5-0. Ethan and Curtis, I'm going to hand you this. I think some of this has already been talked about, but I'd be remiss if I didn't let you glance at this, okay? These are some concerns And I don't want to take a million years reading all of them because I think we've already answered several of them. If there's anything that has not been answered, then just let me know and we can read it aloud. I just don't want to duplicate what we've already discussed.
Mayor, are you seeking to discuss these items?
I'm just,
Or are you-
I know that some of them have already been discussed, and I don't want to duplicate. If there's anything you see on there that you feel we need to discuss and add, then let me know.
Patrick, we're going to need some time to look through this. I'm going to ask a silly question. That or, I don't even know if this is possible, this might be a silly question. Move to item C and come back to item B.
So
I
we would need
doubt
to
that's
table,
possible.
put this item on the table, first and a second, and approve, and then move on to the next item, and then we can take it off the table and go back to it after the next item if they're ready.
Motion to table old business item B, ordinance 2026-02.
Second.
We need to vote on this, right? Okay, Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts.
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. So item B will be tabled until the end of the discussion items in new business. Item C, Resolution 18-26, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, designating an interim city manager pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 6-21-107B and 6-20-205A, defining the scope of authority, duties, and compensation of the interim city manager and directing the initiation of the search for a permanent city manager.
Motion?
Second.
Mayor, if I may. So I had prepared this resolution prior to the last meeting in preparation for the discussion. Contrary to my comment that I made at the start of the meeting, I think it would be, what I would like to hear from you is discussion and you asking me to proceed with negotiations with Mr. Girth in order to get a contract in front of you. And then for our next meeting, we will be prepared to fill in the blanks of this resolution and attach whatever agreement we end up with Mr. Girth for you to approve. So I think ultimately we will need to defer this tonight, or I would recommend deferral because we're not ready to fill in these blanks. But I think it would be useful to have the discussion and see if there's confidence to hire him, assuming he's hireable, which I think he is. So,
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini?
Thank you. Would we be able to bring this up at our special meeting next Wednesday?
only if it's added as an agenda item. Now, I can tell you that I am leaving the country Saturday, and I will be gone a week. It's my children's spring break, and we will be gone. I've arranged for Josh to be at that meeting, but he doesn't need to be probably preparing a contract with Mr. Girth. I will need more than, we'll need more than 3 days anyway to do that. So I think that meeting, you're going to have enough on the agenda at that special call to try to resolve this issue with the debris, and I wouldn't complicate your life like that, nor mine, because I will not be able to help you.
Thank you.
So a motion to defer till the next meeting, does that give you enough time?
I think so, and Mr. Girth will get right on it. It's not rocket science, but it would be good to hear each of you voice that Mr. Girth is the person that you want to hire and to tell me that that's what you want me to work on.
Okay, so we have a current motion on the table to approve, so we could discuss, and then we could do the motion to defer. Yes. Okay.
Motion to defer takes precedence, so I'm going to make a motion to defer to April 16th.
Are we holding on the motion to defer until we have the discussion, or does it matter?
That's fine. You can
Does it
second it and
matter?
then have the
Okay.
discussion. That's
Okay.
fine.
Second.
Okay, discussion from the board.
My opinion, if he is interested, I would be in favor.
Mayor?
Commissioner Buffalini?
Thank you. I have all the confidence in the world, especially after hearing Mr. Girth speak today and just knowing his history and his resume. I am in favor of this individual.
Mayor,
Commissioner Hall?
I am also in favor. Thank you, Mr. Girth.
Mayor?
Commissioner Roberts?
Thank you. I'm also in favor. I did do some legwork looking for another potential candidate, and Mr. Girth's name kept coming up as the recommendation. So thank you for being here, and I am in favor.
Anyone else? I feel the same way. We had a great conversation. I feel like my ideas align with yours, and if we have to bring somebody new in, I feel like you are a good candidate. So we will vote on the motion to defer to April 16th. Ms. Jones?
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Aye.
Item 11, new business. 11A, Resolution 16-26, a resolution encouraging the naming of streets in new developments to honor Fairview residents who have made a lasting impact on the community. Commissioner Buffalini.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Just something that was brought up to me. I was talking with Mr. Bert Hester, and just to pay homage to a lot of the citizens that are have deceased or still currently with us that have just done more and gone over and above, and their names should be remembered. So one of the things I would just like to do is, and this, we can't enforce this at all. It's just a recommendation, just putting it out there, just to get our citizens involved, our community involvement with naming some street signs after some of the citizens that have made a lasting impact on our community.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, please.
Second.
Mayor?
Vice Mayor McDonald.
I think the heart is in the right place with the idea. I think you're gonna, I'm not sure if a resolution is necessary for it. Not that I don't want to see individuals respected. A resolution that would suggest or encourage is more, I'm just not, I guess I'm just not sure how or why it would be there. Not to say it's not a good idea, although I do think, as an individual pointed out to me earlier, it's never a good idea to name things after people who are still alive, because they can always go from good to bad, and then you have a street named after Bill Crosby. So, Crosby. It's just, I like the intent. I think it's a good idea. You know, to be encouraged, we can do that, but to make it a resolution, I'm not sure if that's entirely necessary.
Also, as I've stated in the last time we talked about this, 911 is the ultimate decision maker on street names.
Mayor.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you. Yeah, we did discuss this before, and I agree with what Vice Mayor McDonald said. I like the idea of making sure that we are memorializing important historical figures in Fairview's history and people who have done good things. But we did have a conversation. Mr. Greer, would you help us? I mean, can we even so much as encourage something like this, or is it just not something that we would be able to regulate?
This would be completely contradictory to our current subdivision regulations that states, as a general policy, the use of personal names for new roads is discouraged. As I've met with several of you, the intent behind this, I think, is great. If you look around our community, there's many names, personal names that are used on signs. Joneses, Mangrams, Lampleys are well represented within the city of Fairview community. So I understand the intent behind it. For tonight, staff cannot support this because it would be in direct conflict with our subdivision regulations. I implore you as commissioners and vice mayor and mayor to take this to the planning commission as citizens of the community and ask the planning commission to consider changing the subdivision regulations to encourage the use, if that's your opinion on the matter. And if the planning commission sees fit, then we are happy to draft a resolution for them to change the subdivision regulations to where this would be a feasible item for the city of Fairview. But as our current regulations stand tonight, this would be quite contradictory to what our current standard is.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. And just a thought to encourage this kind of thinking, but maybe in places that aren't highly regulated. You know, we have a historical village park that we're doing, and maybe in another phase later, it would be nice to have like maybe plaques along the way or something set here in City Hall that, you know, perhaps has like a changeable function to it where we can put up things that are perhaps around important anniversaries or dates. And not to get into a protracted conversation about it tonight, but I'd like to, you know, keep thinking about these things, but even if this is not possible.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Nay.
Commissioner Roberts,
Nay.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
No.
Mayor Anderson.
Nay. Item 11A fails 4-1.
Point of order, Mayor. I just have a question. We tabled the resolution to adopt the new zoning regs. If that was to be approved, then the rest of our agenda is null and void. Can we go back to finishing that discussion before we go through items that might be completely moot at this point, if that is approved? Or do we need to wait because it's tabled until the rest of the agenda is done?
I mean, you can move to untable. If they're ready to discuss it, then someone can make a motion to remove it from the table.
To be clear why I say that, the rest of the agenda is rezonings, which if we adopt a new zoning ordinance, then those rezonings would be completely unnecessary.
Are you ready to remove it from the table?
We're ready. Yes.
Make a motion to remove ordinance 2026-02 from the table.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. So, in summary, this document that the mayor provided tonight was provided by T-Square Engineering. It's a feasibility study for a development that they completed. In their summary at the bottom of the page here, they state under the current plan, they could have 162 maximum townhome units, a complete residential development, and parking and street section would meet the typical suburban design that we've traditionally used within Fairview. Under the new code, it would allow 72 to 80 total residential units. They are required to incorporate a commercial mix space within the development. Parking is required to be within the third layer. The garage standards that Vice Mayor McDonald addressed was brought to light in here as one of their challenges. There's required commercial parking and increased infrastructure cost due to the larger street section, which requires on-street parallel parking within the new development code. Several of the items that they have within this have been addressed. I'm not sure when this feasibility study was completed. Based on several of the items within here, I believe it came with the public draft, not the final draft. So there are some items that are not applicable. The biggest piece is within the new development code, CD4 as a character district allows a maximum residential density of 6 units per acre. Currently, the property that this feasibility study looked at is currently zoned residential multifamily 8 units per acre, RM8. In CD4, that is intended to be our commercial properties, generally speaking. There are availability within CD4 for residential uses. There are townhomes, small multifamily, single family, duplexes are all available building types within CD4. However, if you want to build residential within CD4, you have to build commercial as well. So it limits the space on the site that is available for residential so that you're not giving up all of your commercial space exclusively for residential space. The best example I can share with you for that, if you look across the street from here almost, Cedar Crest is a townhome development. That property was zoned commercial general. Previously, we had that you could develop an entire commercial general parcel as RM8 multifamily. That was removed back in 2019, I believe. And going forward, we've had expressed interest from not only developers, but also community members that have sought to have a mixed-use development. The feasibility study for this property is located on Highway 96. It's approximately 1 mile from the interstate interchange. So you're relatively close to a corridor that would love to have some commercial opportunities there. With that said, the intent of CD4 is primarily commercial with the opportunity to provide residential spaces. Within CD3, 3L, CD2W, and CD2, we have removed everything except for single-family homes being built within those areas. CD4 is the only space that you can build multifamily, townhomes, and duplexes. With that, that provides an opportunity for walkability, provides an opportunity for some commercial locally there to that spot. It also helps us grow our commercial businesses because you're putting rooftops literally behind their business, or within a close proximity to their front door. So outside of that, they have some challenges with how civic spaces are different than what we've traditionally utilized. We've traditionally called it open space. At one point in the city of Fairview's history, there was improved open space and open space as two different definitions. For us, you can have open space. Civic space is a programmed area for the community members within that development and outside of that development to utilize. Typically, you see this as playgrounds or parks or a dog park or a community pool, something along those lines as a programmed civic space area. Our new code does have a much stricter requirement. It's 5% of the total property that has to be programmed as civic space. You also have to have proximity to the residential spaces. It's 800 feet from every residence has to have proximity to a civic space. And that is to continue to have our small town character where you know your next door neighbor, where you all let your kids play together and you toss a football out on Thanksgiving morning. And having those opportunities has traditionally not been done in Fairview. With our current codes, how they are written, there is a suggested, in most cases, a suggested 10%, and it is not even a may, it's not a shall, it's a may. And so we really focused in on that piece of having programmed civic spaces for the community to actually be involved with each other and maintain what I would consider rural character, where you know your next door neighbor and you go knock on their door and ask for a cup of sugar. The last piece is the thoroughfare. There is a significant issue with thoroughfares within the city of Fairview. I know several of you have talked to Chief Hughes here lately. This is a big point for him. Them being the fire department, accessing homes when you have vehicles parked on the street is a challenge that they face in every neighborhood within Fairview. As Mr. Carter spoke earlier about the garages and the intent behind how some people have tried to get vehicles off of the road, people are still parking on the road. And especially in neighborhoods, they're parking there. So we have a requirement within here to have a parking lane that provides space. It's an extra 7 feet of asphalt for a developer to put in to provide space along the side of the road for them to accommodate parked vehicles so that fire trucks, police officers, an ambulance, everyday people that live within the development have complete access to their home at all times and don't have to navigate through a maze of vehicles for life-saving medical care or just to get to their house after they've sat in traffic on Highway 100 coming home. Those are real concerns that developers have. We've talked with them about several of these, particularly T-Squared Engineering. They've been working through Nolensville, the city of Franklin, city of Columbia, Gallatin, all has this pretty much exact same code with this exact same language. and they build and develop in every single one of those towns. It's not impossible. It does take a little bit more thoughtful design and a little bit of care for the residents that are going to be living there. But outside of that, ultimately, this feasibility study pretty much says we don't want to meet this code because we can't get what we want. At the end of the day, this code is a different step in the direction of the city. It is not land use based Euclidean code that we have traditionally had within the city of Fairview. It is a different step forward. When I was hired here, we were encouraged by the communities around us that have gone this way with a hybrid form-based code. Mr. Carter and I met a few times about it. The board at the time was strongly encouraging to pursue this option. And so we did. And ultimately, you can't develop the way that you did in Fairview 15 years ago. You can't build townhomes and fill up the entire property. We have to change the way that we're doing and the way that we're designing if we want to continue to grow and be smart with our growth.
Mayor.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Greer, for that explanation. Just kind of a somewhat philosophical question, but can our current code help us grow into the city that we are becoming as we continue to expand?
If I believe that our current code would have been beneficial to the city of Fairview as we continue to grow, I would have not engaged in this process.
Thank you. And could this new revised code help us grow into the city and deal with some of the measures that we're concerned about, like traffic and crowdedness and perhaps the buildings that are not matching what we want in Fairview?
I think this code was specifically derived from citizens' comments between the public planning process of writing this code and the 2040 comprehensive plan public process. We pulled many of comments and many of ideas from there and different things that folks wanted to see implemented. And this is the regulatory document to help implement those items from the 2040 plan and from the planning process with this.
And one last question. If we get into this and it turns out that there's something that isn't quite what we want, it doesn't work, or we need to make changes, is it something that can be modified just in part and just making updates?
You would amend it just like you amended it tonight. And I
Thank you.
fully expect that there will be a raft of amendments in 6 months and then more in 12 months. And we'll collect them. Ethan will collect them. And there'll be things that absolutely don't work or aren't convenient or don't work the way they were intended. And I would expect it to be modified many times over the years. It'd be unrealistic not to expect amendments.
So that's pretty normal for that to happen.
Absolutely.
That is 100% normal.
Preferred.
Okay.
And as I spoke to you about, at some point I'm going to die, I'm not going to be here. Someone may have a different vision. This board, 3 of you are up for election in November, may have a different vision, may want to make 1,000 amendments to this document. But at the end of the day, myself and my staff believe that this document is a piece to help it move Fairview forward in a positive direction.
Yeah. And sorry, I thought of one last question. First, prayers for your health. Let's keep you around for this code for a good long while, for lots of amendments to it. But then also, how much have we invested of taxpayer dollars into bringing this code to the point where it is today?
Benjamin probably may have an exact number, but the contract was $275,000, and we are, I believe, just shy of $275,000 spent on this on this document.
Plus staff time and other
A
time
significant amount of staff time has been
commission
spent
times.
on this, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
So if we make an amendment or 60, we don't have to pay TPUDC another dime, right?
We are intending any amendments will be handled at this point in-house, yes.
Because my only concern with that is Mayor Haley Gallick of Nolensville told me that they made over 60 amendments and had to pay TPUDC. So I just want to be clear that we can do this ourselves and we do not have to pay them any more money.
That's correct. As of today, our contract with them is final. They are no longer involved with this process. It is to staff and the board to walk it through the final steps of adoption. So any changes that we make will be us making these changes.
For example, Spring Hill amends their Uniform Development Code yearly, and typically there's a collection of amendments that are collected over the year, and then it's amended, and it's staff that drives that. If there was wholesale revisions to entire sections or zoning classifications, which I have a hard time imagining that at this point, at that point you may want to consider bringing a professional that just does that in. But the type of amendments we're talking about are the type of amendments that you made tonight, whether this should be 20 by 10 or 20 by 13 or the size of a drive lane or the width of a driveway or the modification of a road frontage, things like that. I mean, those are things that staff can easily handle, and they've been handling it, and they've been driving it. So I think that's a completely normal and expected process in the future.
Anything else from the board? Ms. Jones?
Oh, I'm sorry, I do have one more question. Just regarding the map, the map, there was amendments made to the map, and it currently is showing how it's always looked. I'm just curious what.
Correct. Vice Mayor, you did make one amendment to the map at the first reading of this document. It was for one property to go from CD4C to CD4 as a standing amendment. That was technically Amendment 1.
Thank you.
Mr. Carter, could you recap a point of order for where we are, for what we're voting on?
I believe we have a first and a second, and so I think we're ready to vote unless there's any additional amendments, and then it will become the law of the city. It's second reading.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Roberts?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Long time.
Board, it's really a big thing that you just did. This is something that's been more than 2 years in the making. It's no small task. You've invested lots of resources into this. You've trusted staff to bring it forward. This is one thing that you've done. You do many things, but this is one major thing that you have done that will direct the city of Fairview forward in a positive and productive manner and solve lots of development issues that we have and that we would continue if we didn't get on the train forward. So the round of applause, I don't know who started, but I was thinking that really we needed a round of applause, so I'm glad it started. Very well done.
I think Brandon's taken credit for the round of applause and a second round of applause.
Really,
Okay, so ordinance item 10B, ordinance 2026-02 passes 5-0. So just for clarification, item 11B, C, D, and E will be brought back under the new zoning ordinance. Or they will have the new zoning ordinance fulfill what they're asking.
Correct, yep.
That is correct, Mayor. The meeting with the property owners and representatives of those projects, at the time that they submitted their application for rezoning, we were unclear of a ending date of the development code adoption process. And so the desires of those property owners were included within the zoning map. And so those items are null and void at this point.
Okay. Item number 12 is roundtable mayor and commissioners. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. Very productive meeting tonight. And I know Brandon's proud of this because I know how much hard he worked on it while he was on the Planning Commission and as a commissioner. Thank you, Brandon, for all your input into it. I love the parking thing in the subdivisions. I think, Ethan, you'll agree with me on that one 100%. We have that same problem right now where we live. The other thing that I would like to say tonight, I've had some reports of people going in from Walmart into the park. I've actually seen and stopped some myself going in from the fire hall and not stopping them, but just tell them they're at risk. And this is a very dangerous thing. And I know that the park means a whole lot to a lot of people, but people, this could get you killed in there. One limb would take your life away from here. Just give us a chance to get to moving on it, and I'm just begging you to stay out of there for right now until we get this cleared up. And I know everybody on this board feels the same way. Anyway, thanks for everybody coming. Thanks for all the staff and all the Curtis. Very seldom ever thank Curtis, but thank you too, Curtis, and all the people that help you get everything done too. Everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Commissioner Buffalini.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. I want to first say congratulations, Westwood Elementary, celebrating 25 years today. I was at that event. It was they did a great job with it, and I was very happy to be there. I do want to thank Mr. Vernon Girth. I appreciate you for even just coming here and speaking to our team and our board and all the department heads, and we appreciate you and everything you're going to do for our city. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank everyone who came here tonight, citizens who spoke. It's not easy to get up here and speak. I want to thank you. Thank you very much for all of that. I just hope everyone has a very happy Easter and enjoy your holiday.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight and for your comments. I know that we have a lot of opposing points of view in the city right now, and I'm not sure what I am being accused of. This is the first I've heard this evening, but I would first like to just say I don't know of any violations, but I do know that people are hurting, and I know that there's a lot of feelings. I hope that some of the calls for unity tonight and some of the action that we've taken this evening, acting as a board and moving forward, are going to be first steps towards finding our way as a community. We are a tight-knit, small community. Sometimes we agree with each other and sometimes we don't, and the circles of agreement can shift very quickly. But I'm glad that we were able to come to agreements on things tonight. I'm glad that people do feel comfortable coming in and speaking, whether they're agreeing with us or disagreeing with us. This City Hall belongs to the citizens of Fairview. So I'm grateful for everyone who does speak. Thank you for everybody who helped with the development code. As we know, it's a working document. It will have updates. And I'm grateful also that that'll continue to happen as the city grows. Mr. Girth, thank you so much for being here this evening. And I hope that everyone has if you celebrate, a wonderful Easter weekend.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Yeah, I just want to echo that. I'm very encouraged tonight to see the board come together as a unified front on a lot of difficult decisions. There's some that were pushed off to a later date, but even that, we all agreed that that was the right thing to do, and it's good to see agreement amongst everybody working together for the better of the city. Yeah, huge accomplishment for everybody involved on the new zoning regulations. That was no easy lift, long time coming, a lot of work went into it. It'd be impossible to explain the amount of work that went into it, not by myself, but by others, some in this room. And just really appreciate that. And congrats on the new hire, Mr. Meeks, I believe you said. Look forward to meeting him. And sir, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time tonight. It is very much appreciated. And if you choose to move forward with us, I look forward to being alongside that. Thank you. I'm sorry, one other thing. If you do celebrate Easter, there's a lot of good churches in this community, and they would be welcome to have you. So if you would like to celebrate Sunday, find a church and enjoy your holiday. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Parker and Ms. Johnston for being out here to give us a great explanation and way to move forward. We look forward to getting the numbers so that we can make decisions for the community about getting our park back open. I hear about that daily, and I know that with spring coming, it's a big deal. So I believe that all of us want to get moving forward and get the park back open. Thank you to Mr. Vernon Girth for being here. It was a pleasure getting to speak with you and then meeting you. Look forward to working with you. And Westwood's 25th anniversary was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of people that helped start that school. My daughter started there at the very beginning, and she's 34 now. So it was a great group of people, great education, and it was just a really great event. Enjoyed seeing all of their memories, and 3 young girls who got up there and spoke and were like champs. It's really encouraging to see the young people, because they're our future, being able to articulate the way they did. It was impressive. Thank you to everybody who worked on the zoning code. I'm glad that we're able to adopt that and move forward for the future for Fairview. And I just, some things are brought up, and there are a lot of people that are hurt about Mr. Daugherty's forced resignation, and I just hurts me to see his mom and dad here and what he's had to go through. He's a good man, and he's done a lot for this community. He's been either finance or city manager for 12 years. He has never once, not one time, has he had not a clean audit. His audits have been clean every time. What that means is he has handled our city's money perfectly. Even the thought of anybody bringing up fiscal malfeasance, misappropriation of funds, they're pretty heavy charges, so I'd be careful, anybody bringing that up, because you can't misappropriate funds that haven't been spent. And I just want to put that out there. We have had a serious storm event. That storm event is what has put us in a bad situation here, not a person. We had a fire truck that was delivered months early before we could finalize a budget. That has nothing to do with a person. That has to do with timing. So, you know, we're moving forward, and I just want to say that, you know, I've worked with Tom for the whole 12 years he's been here. Planning Commission, Vice Mayor, Mayor, and I've worked with 5 different city managers. He did a wonderful job and was always taking care of this community. And the people who've lived here a long time have watched over the years of how he has gone from having no money to bringing us into the black and us being successful. So anything other than his reputation being stellar is unfair to this man. And I just want everybody to know that. Happy Easter. Let's remember what Easter's all about and the sacrifice that was made by our Lord Jesus Christ. So with that, let's keep Fairview beautiful and pick up and don't throw out trash. I entertain a motion to adjourn.